Hello everyone, we're from Group 5 and for today we would like presenting a new chapter of research method. The chapter is theoretical framework and hypothesis development. So before we start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Relifidi Audrey and I'm together with two of my friends. The first one is Yuki Fairuuz and the second one is Zahwa Nura Aziza. So I'm gonna explain about the need for a theoretical framework. A theoretical framework represent your belief on how certain phenomena or variable or concept are related to each other, or a model and an explanation of why you believe that these variables are associated with each theory. The second one is the process of building a theoretical framework. So there are three steps when you try to building a theoretical framework. The first one is introducing definition of the concept or variables in your model. And then after that, you would like to develop a conceptual model that provides a descriptive representation of your theory. And the next one is coming up with a theory that provides an explanation for relationship between the variables and your models. So this is the variable. Anything that can take on differing or varying values. So the values can differ at various times for the same object or person, or at the same time for different objects or also the persons. So for example, a variable that are production units, absenteeism, and motivation. And then the next one is four main types of variable. The first one is the dependent variable, or also known as the criterion variable. The second one is the independent variable, also known as the predictor variable. The third one is the moderating variable, and the last one will be the mediating variable. Okay, so this is the dependent variable. Dependent variable is the variable of primary interest to the researcher. So the researcher goals is to understand and describe the dependent variable or to explain its variability or predicted. So in other words, it is the main variable that lends itself for investigation as a viable factor. And it is possible to have more than one dependent variable in a study. And then the next one is independent variable. So the one that influences the independent variable in either a positive or negative way. And that's what we call independent variable. So it is when the independent variable present, the dependent variable is also present, and which each unit increase in the independent variable, there is an increase or decrease in the dependent variable.
So the next is moderating variable. The moderating variable is one that has a strong contingent effect on the independent variable and dependent variable relationship. The next one is mediating variable, the one that surface between the time the independent variable start operating to influence the dependent variable and the time their impact is felt on it. How theory is generated. The theory framework is the foundation on which the entire educative research project is based. It is a logical, developed, descripted, and elaborate network of association among the variables relevant to the problem situation and identified through such process as interview, observation, and literature review. Experience and intuition also guide the development of the theoretical framework. It becomes evident at this stage that to arrive at good solution to the problem, one should first correctly identify the problem and then the variables that contribute to it. Next is the components of the theoretical framework. The first is the variable considered relevant to the study should be clearly defined. The second is the conceptual model that describes the relationship between the variables is the model should be given, and the third is there should be a clear explanation of why we expect this relationship to exist. A conceptual model help you to structure your discussion of the literature. A conceptual model describe your ideas about how the concepts variable in your model are related to each other. And the next one is hypothesis development. A hypothesis can be defined as a tentative yet testable statement which predicts what you expect to find in your empirical data. Hypotheses are different from the theory on which your conceptual model is based and are often rational in nature.
Okay, for the next one is the statement of hypothesis format if-then statements. A hypothesis can be defined as a testable statement of the relationship among variables. A hypothesis can also test whether there are differences between two groups or among several groups with respect to any variables or variables. For example, young women like young women will be more likely to express dissatisfaction with their body weight when they are more frequently exposed to images of thin models in advertisements. If young women are more frequently exposed to images of thin models in advertisements, then they will be more likely to express dissatisfaction with their body weight. And the next one is directional and non-directional hypothesis, stating that relationship between two variables or comparing two groups terms such as positive, negative, and more than less, and less than, and then the like are used. For example, the greater the stress experienced in the job, the lower the job satisfaction of employees. Women are more motivated than men. Slide. Null and alternative hypothesis. The hypothetical deductive method requires that hypotheses are falsifiable. They must be written in such way that other researchers can show them to be false. For this reason, hypotheses are sometimes accompanied by null hypothesis. A null hypothesis, or HO, is a hypothesis set up to be rejected in order to support an alternate hypothesis labeled HA. And the conclusion emphasizes the essential role of a theoretical framework in research, providing a basis for understanding variable relationships. It involves defining variables, creating a conceptual model, forming testable hypotheses, and different types of variables such as dependent, independent, moderating, and mediating are explored. And theory generation relies on logical development through interviews, observations, literature review, experience, and intuition. And key components include well-defined variables, a conceptual model illustrating relationships and explanations of respective connections, and hypotheses presented as if-then statements are crucial for empirical testing, with a focus on directional and non-directional distinctions. And the hypothetical deductive method underscores the importance of falsifiable null hypotheses. And I think that's it from our group. Thank you for listening and see you the next time. Bye bye.